Hello, everyone. How are y'all doing this evening? Sharice Johnson Moore here. Hello, your hope builder, lifting you out of your sorrow by guiding you to see the Christ within through scripture and practical applications. Hello, everyone. And how is everyone doing today? It's time for Let's Talk Sunday. And today, our special guest is Miss Millie Haywood, and our topic is surviving domestic violence. Our topic for this evening is surviving domestic violence. All right, everyone, everybody ready? Hello, Miss Millie, how are you doing today?
Hi, how are you, Miss Moore?
How are you doing? Hi, baby.
I am blessed in yourself.
I'm blessed. Today my birthday, so the Lord has allowed me to see another day. Amen. Praise the Lord. Thank you, Jesus.
Yes, yes. Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
Oh, thank you so much. So, Miss Millie, I wanted to, I know that we had a brief conversation, when we sat down and we talked about this topic, and I wanted you to give us your story. And is it possible we could hear some of your story? Introduce yourself and tell us, something about you and your story.
Well, yes, for everyone who is listening, my name is Millie Haywood. I am a domestic violence survivor, victor, I will call it, because I don't see us as victims. We are victors in this battle. Um, I was with my abuser for 15 and a half years. We have 5 children in common, 2 boys and 3 girls. Um, in the midst of it, it really didn't start off as abuse in the beginning. I would like to call it, it started off as a honeymoon phase where he would swindle me and take me out and spend lots of money on me. And in that time, me being 15 and 16, when I first met him, I was so blinded by the things that he was giving me. And I confused that. I really, really misconstrued that for love. And so, with that being said, I wind up, you know, having a blind eye to a lot of red flags that were starting off in the beginning. For instance, when I wind up moving with him, there was an incident with him and his uncle. And fast track a little bit, I know I'm kind of going ahead of myself, but I was just throwing out an example to let the women know, how you can be blinded so quickly and just out of nowhere, because what happened for me. And there was an incident with his uncle. They had a disagreement. Our child was not even a year old. He was still crawling. And they were arguing, and he literally punched him in the face so many times. The next day, he woke up, the uncle, and his face was like completely unrecognizable.
Mm,
And for me, I don't see how and why I took a blind eye to that, but I still continued to stay with him.
mm-hmm,
And it was so many different incidences with the family before it got into me.
mm-hmm,
It took where it got into me for me to open my eyes up and say, you know what? Wow, okay, this is real. I need to get out. But by that time, a lot of my family, I was isolated from my family. He had got
mm-hmm,
me in that position where he had actually done something to a family member of mine. And that's
mm-hmm,
what allowed the family to cut me off as well as him, most definitely. And they felt
mm-hmm,
like, because I had a child in common with him, that I should go too, because as long as I'm around, he's going to be around. And,
mm-hmm,
for a while, it hurt and I did not understand it. But now growing up, being almost 36 now, I really
mm-hmm.
understand that, they was just making that move to protect the rest of the family because they seen the red signs before I even did.
Okay,
Hmm.
okay. So, um, what are some of the signs that a woman should be aware of when it comes to domestic violence?
I believe the signs that women should definitely be aware of is isolation. Number one, they will begin
Mm-hmm.
to do things like isolate you from your family, have
Yes.
problems with you having company, having friends,
Mm-hmm.
even down to phone calls. You know, they will get irritated with those things. Those are major, major early red flags that women need to be aware of, because
Mm-hmm.
those were some of the things that I bypassed for a very long time. It took me up until maybe my mid to late 20s for me to really realize what was going on right in front of me in, in our own household.
Uh-huh. Okay. Um, so when did you get the notion of, get the notion that this person is not for you?
I hate to say it, but it took me, I would say, up until my late 20s. Um, yeah, I would say around mid to late 20s, I had lost my father.
Uh-huh.
And this was a very, very detrimental time for me. Not only was I in a abusive relationship, I had maybe
Yeah.
4 or 5 kids at the time. I have a total of
Uh-huh.
7, but I think I had maybe 4 or 5 at the time.
Uh-huh.
My father passes away. When I
Yeah.
give birth to my youngest son, he was only 2 weeks old before my
Uh-huh.
father passed away. So I was not
Yeah.
only balancing out the hormones from, just having a baby, but then I lose my father. And I try to
Uh-huh.
go to him as, thinking that he was going to support me because my father passed away. He treated me so badly. I remember
Mm-hmm.
him saying, because
Mm-hmm.
shortly after I was mentioning that if I would ever have another child, what I was going to name it. And I
Yeah.
never forget, and I named it after my father, which is
Yeah.
my daughter. And I would never forget the words he said. He said, "That is just so stupid." And that right there, it
Uh-huh.
put me almost in a blind rage because he knew how much I loved my father. He knew how close I was with my father.
Uh-huh.
And
Yes.
I guess he did that to break me down even more emotionally, mentally, and spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of me giving him the upper hand, that just sat in the back of my mind for so long. And that right there, I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. And I said, you know
Uh-huh.
what? I need to start making plans. I got to get out of here. I have to leave safely, walk away, and never look back.
Oh,
And I
okay.
did. After years later, it took a little longer than expected, but
Mm-hmm.
I finally mustered up the courage and I really had to tap in with God because I really did not see no way out without him. Because he knew so many of we had mutual friends together. He was still
Mm-hmm.
connected with a lot of my family members. So it was
Uh-huh.
nothing for him to find me. So
Yeah.
I really had to outsmart him. I really had to put a lot of thought into what was going on, what could potentially happen. Then I had my kids with me. It was a
Mm-hmm.
lot that that was at stake, but I was willing to take that risk because we needed that freedom. We needed that breath of fresh air. We needed that peace.
Mm-hmm.
We needed it. We
Oh,
thrived. We were suffering.
yes. Yes.
Hmm.
So, um, okay, when it comes to the children,
Hmm.
do you see the children taking on some of the traits of their father?
Oh, actually, and that's funny that you mentioned that because you know that we had spoken briefly about this, and yes,
Mm-hmm.
and actually that was a major turning point for me. That's when I really knew. Because I'm not even going to lie, between those periods, those 15, 16 years, I was going back and forth. And the only reason why I did that, number one for
Uh-huh.
me, was because I was not financially stable. He put me in
Uh-huh.
a position where every time I had something good coming my way, he would find a way to sabotage it for me. Because he was paying for
Oh.
transportation or whatever the
Uh-huh.
case was. And I
Mm-hmm.
was going to school for. trying to be a PCA. I got my certification for that. But then
Yeah.
he found a way to sabotage that because he would not babysit his own children. He wouldn't even watch his own children for me to work, you know.
Uh-huh.
And yeah. But for me, with my children, as I seen them getting older, yes, most
Yeah.
definitely with my boys. Um,
Uh-huh.
they were starting to disrespect me. They would say things that he would say, and it would
Uh-huh.
reflect back. I will automatically have this flashback in my head of what he would
Mm-hmm.
say and what he
I
did
know,
and
right?
how he did
Yeah.
it. And then I'm looking at them, and it was kind of hard for me to do because I'm seeing
Mm-hmm.
them, but I see him with the words that's
Yeah.
coming out of their mouths. And so that
Yeah.
was very challenging for me. I'm not even gonna
Mm-hmm.
lie. I almost went upside their heads a few times because I almost lost it because the way they would say it, and then they look just like them, like just like
Uh-huh.
him. You know, it
Yeah.
really it messed with me mentally, and they didn't see that.
Uh-huh.
But for me, it was like a step back in the twilight
Back in
zone.
time. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Step
you
back in
know
time. Yeah.
exactly.
Yes.
And so
I
once go ahead.
no, go ahead, baby. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But once I was seeing that, it was it was it was a real wake up call because I had to sit back and tell
Yeah.
myself, you know what? If you don't put a stop to this now,
Yeah.
either they're going to do it to you all over
Yeah.
again after you
Uh-huh.
walked away from this,
Yeah.
or they're going to go out here and do it to someone else's daughter. Either
Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
someone is
Uh-huh.
going to feel it. Someone is going to go
Yeah.
through this. And I felt like I had
Mm-hmm.
to break that cycle. I absolutely
Yeah.
had to.
Yeah. Yeah. So in hindsight, um, in hindsight, what advice would you give a woman that's dealing with domestic violence? What advice would you give her?
Um, First and foremost, the advice that I would give is tap into God because I'm telling you, He led the way for me.
You ain't never
He
lied
really
about
did.
that.
He really did. I was so
Amen.
scared. I didn't know whether I was going to kill him or whether he was going to kill me. It was a
Hmm.
battle. It was a mental battle that I went through for a long time. And
Yeah.
I was paralyzed by fear. You know, not
Hmm.
fear of him, but
Yeah. Yeah.
would I
Just the
step out the
feel.
box and right, you know, whether I
Yeah.
would turn into something like him if I
Uh-huh.
stayed, it was so many different things. So, number
Yeah.
one, tap into God. You have to pray,
Amen.
meditate. I used to do it every
Amen.
morning. I would get out of the house even when he was there. Wait to see he went to
Yeah.
sleep. I would go
Uh-huh.
outside, walk around the
Hmm.
block maybe 6 or 7
Hmm.
times, and I would just pray
Yeah.
and talk to God like, get me out of this, please.
Yeah.
Someone is going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Please get me out of this, you know.
Yeah.
And then
Uh-huh.
I started meditating, and
Hmm.
then I finally tapped into other women that were struggling because for a while I felt like I was just all alone, like I was the only
Hmm.
person going through it. And then when I
Hmm.
started tapping into when I got back into my women's group, um,
Yeah.
Women Taking a Stand with Millie, um,
Yes.
I realized there was so many women suffering. I just started going on their pages. One
Yeah.
woman was pretty much mentioning how this man almost beat her to death, left her for
Hmm.
dead. Now she's paralyzed, and he taunts her with it and took her child.
Hmm.
And it was just
Hmm.
so, I was like, oh my God, my heart just broke. So therefore, I knew that there was a higher purpose, you know.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, I know I'm kind of going off the rail. I'm sorry about
You
this.
fine. You
I'm so
fine.
sorry. But
You
yes, number
fine.
one, you know, tap into God.
Uh-huh.
Find you a support group. Find you a group of people who you can relate
Hmm.
to. Do not isolate yourself anymore because when you
Yeah.
isolate, that's when you're vulnerable.
Hmm.
And when you're vulnerable, that's when they will try you. They will.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Hmm.
What are some other things that you would give, other advice you would give women that's dealing with domestic violence?
Speak up, speak out. Don't be afraid. Do not be
Mm-hmm.
afraid. It is a scary situation, and you do have to um, lead with precaution. Absolutely. You really do. But do not be afraid. We are here for a
Okay.
purpose. We are here to tell a
Yes.
story. We're going through this storm for a reason, to help
Hmm.
others. Because
Yeah.
even though I'm halfway out of my storm, there are people that are in my group that are in the midst of their storms right now, not knowing
Yeah.
who to talk to, who to open up to, if they can trust anyone, so
Hmm.
it's really a big thing to have loving people that support
Yeah.
you and
Okay.
not judge you or anything like that.
Mhm. Okay. So tell us where we can find where we can find resources and things of that nature to help us better us as far as help is concerned.
Well, I do have a women's group that is private called Women Taking a Stand with Millie on Facebook.
Hmm.
You would have to go through me, being that it's a private group, and the reason why it's private is because it's a lot of abusers out here, including my own, who have
Uh-huh.
tried to reach out to me, making fake profiles and things of that nature. So it's private, um,
Hmm.
but you would have to DM me on
Yeah.
my original page, which is Millie Haywood on Facebook. And once you DM
Okay.
me, I would definitely send you an invite, and you will be more than welcome to join the group.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Um. So, uh, do you mind telling us what city and state that you're in, so women can get help in that city and state,
Oh,
where they,
absolutely.
they can
I'm
get
in
in contact.
yes, sure. I'm in Portsmouth, Virginia.
Hmm.
hmm
Okay. And any other resources there that can help them, Miss Millie?
And see, that's the thing, and that's why I'm really fighting with this group and trying to make it a big thing, because there's
Hmm.
hardly any resources out here. This may be one shelter, I believe. It's called the Her Shelter, and
Uh-huh.
they require a waiting list and all of this. And I'm like, this is insane, because you
Uh-huh.
have women that, if they don't have anywhere else to go, they're going to go back to their abusers. And
Hmm.
I've been there, I've done that. I went through that for so long, which is why that played a major part as to why I
Uh-huh.
went back to him so many times, because I didn't have no other ways where else to go, you
Uh-huh.
know. And
Uh-huh.
so I believe that is the only shelter, and then they do have a waiting list. And once again, I tried that before I went out on my journey, but it was a struggle, and which is why I'm really trying to fight with this group. I'm trying to make it
Hmm.
something bigger. I would like to
Hmm.
start a nonprofit organization where we can gather up funds so that we
Hmm.
can have another shelter out here for these women. They need
Okay.
a safe
Okay.
haven, and
Yeah, they
unfortunately,
do.
we don't have
But
that right now.
and that's the strange part.
Right.
Oh,
Exactly.
that's the strange part is that they have homeless shelters, but they don't. They have the homeless shelters, but they don't have the. I mean, well, where I live at in Uniontown, Pennsylvania, they have
hmm
a women's homeless shelter, they have a men's homeless shelter, and they have a children's homeless shelter, and they have
Oh wow.
battered women's with children's shelter here.
Wow.
And yes, I used to work at a homeless shelter here
Okay.
in Uniontown, and that's how I found out that they had that battered women's and children's shelter.
hmm
It's like not it wasn't not too far from the women's homeless shelter, like maybe around the corner or like up like it wasn't far, like 10 minute walk,
Okay.
and they have it here. But I
hmm
noticed they don't have it in Portsmouth. I was raised in Portsmouth.
Right.
And they have, I mean, they have a homeless shelter. They have homeless shelters, but they don't have anything for women battered women with children. They don't have anything like that in Portsmouth.
No, they
And
don't.
it's like, wow, you don't have that resource.
Exactly.
And then you get, then you know how it is when they call the police out to the house, and
hmm
they call the police out, but the police, they it's okay, well, we just brush it off, or who hit who first and we go take them to jail.
Oh yes,
It's
I went through that too, several
you
times,
know
and that
and-
was just an act of self-defense.
Yeah,
And I
because
went
the
to
person
jail a
attacked.
few times.
Yeah.
Yes, and he had one
Yeah.
little mark under his eye, and they handcuffed me.
Yeah.
Mind you, he was in my house, so I'm trying to
Hello.
explain to the police, like, this is my family,
Not.
this is
Uh huh.
our house. He's
Yeah.
here. I asked him to leave. I
Yeah.
tried to get him out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
He pushes me, and that was
Uh.
it. I punched him in the face. Yes, I did.
Mm.
Like, that was a reflex for me. Like, you know, and
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
asking you to leave. I'm telling you several times to leave. And he
Yeah.
shows the police. They put the flashlight on his eye. They see
Uh-huh.
one little mark and they handcuff
I
me.
know,
I said,
right?
"Ain't this about a blimp?"
Blip.
I go to I go to jail,
Like
come
when?
back. I get bonded out. I sign myself out, and he's
Yeah.
still there. I'm like, this is insane. So
Yeah.
even
I
down
know,
to
right?
the justice system, okay, it took
Yeah.
me so much. It took so
Yeah.
much for me, so much paper trail, for them to even
Mm-hmm.
acknowledge what he was doing to me. You know,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
this year I got in a restraining order, and I had to fight for that. And
Uh-huh.
I just updated that, and now that has been expedited for 2 years.
Uh-huh.
And I
Okay.
feel like if he's quiet enough, it will be lifted. If
Yeah.
he is quiet enough and doesn't do too much, where
Mm-hmm.
the spotlight is off of him, then he's
Yeah.
free to go. And I feel like that's not fair for us women. We have to fight tooth and nail to have
I
peace.
know, right?
That's insane.
Because I mean, me and I remember having that experience
Mm-hmm.
with my husband, my
Right.
first my first husband.
Okay.
And the experience was, okay, we're gonna go down here, move down here with my family. We're gonna
Mm-hmm.
move down here with my grandparents and my father down in Tuskegee, Alabama. Now
Okay.
Tuskegee ain't but so big, and the only thing useful there is the university. Okay,
Okay.
and so and I was like, I couldn't go out, I couldn't go anywhere, and he will always had this excuse, I can't find no job, ain't no jobs here.
Oh yeah, mine used to do that all the
Okay.
time.
So my thing was I went around to everybody, his grandparents,
Mm-hmm.
tried to help us as much as they could. His dad tried to help us as much as he could. And I turned around and ended up having two jobs. I
Okay.
ended up working at the university cafeteria and at the bookstore.
Oh wow. Okay.
And me and him, we agreed, that we weren't, it just wasn't working out. It wasn't working out.
Right.
And I had went to go stay with some other people, and he
Mm-hmm.
would come. I was going to the community college deal. Me and him ended up being in the same class. I said, Lord have mercy.
Mm.
So
Oh
we
wow.
we we decided. And then he would taunt me. He would taunt me. He took my
Mm-hmm.
pocketbook one time. I was in class. Now he messing with this other girl in the classroom. Now he
Oh
messing with this
wow.
other girl,
And they're good for that too.
and
Mm-hmm.
he telling everybody in class. He trying to tell everybody, turn everybody against me, like I'm the one
Uh-huh.
doing stuff wrong.
That is a tactic. That's a narcissistic
And
tactic right
yeah,
there. Mm-hmm.
so then I was like, he got to the point where he was blaming me for everything, blaming me for him losing, getting out the
Yes.
military, getting put out military.
Mm-hmm.
Now, military is very strict on how you handle your finances, and if you
Oh
can't handle your
yes.
finances, they will give you a dishonorable discharge
That's right.
because you're not responsible. He's always getting in fights. I didn't, it was. I really got with him because I wanted to get out the house from under my grandparents' rule. And
Mm-hmm. Me
that's why I
too.
went off to marry him. I'm gonna marry this
Mm.
person. I'm gonna go ahead. We gonna go ahead.
Right.
I'm gonna get out.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, that was the worst thing I ever done.
Right.
That was the worst thing I ever
Exactly.
done. To run
For
off
me
to go
too.
marry somebody, to leave a house, to leave my grandparents' house, to leave the comforts of what I had, to go
Mm-hmm.
think I was gonna get something better, which was
Right.
really worse than what I already had.
Exactly. And now with me looking back on it, that's the exact same thing. Even though, I didn't know what I was getting myself into fully, I
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to be free because before I met him, I was hanging out all the time, staying out late. I was a rebellious teenager, you know.
Yeah, having
And
fun.
so me being with him was like, in the beginning, a breath of fresh air. I can do what I want. Oh man, I ain't
Yeah.
gotta, ain't no curfew. But then
Uh-huh.
before you know it, sooner or later, it started, you know. kind of like the same
Yeah,
thing,
with
but
the
worse, you know?
possessiveness. You can't talk to nobody. You know, you
Yes.
can't go to this person's house. You can't do this. And it was just, and that's why I say that it's so important for fathers to be in a girl's life,
Oh,
in the
yes.
daughter's life, because you
Mm-mm-mm.
are the first example of what a man should be and what she should see, and as an example of what she should get when she turns around and get a legal age, or what she what that example of what she
Yes.
sees
Yes.
and gets involved with,
Right.
because she doesn't have the proper guidance from a man, she'll go
Mm-hmm.
out here and anybody say, I was one of them ones. Oh girl, you look so pretty, I like you. and,
Yes.
and think, oh okay, he liked me, okay. Really wasn't about no liking, it was about other things where they wanted to
Exactly. Hello.
how they say it, what they say, um conquer, where
Mm.
I'm a rise and conquer, and
Yep.
it's like, all
Okay.
right.
Yeah. Exactly.
and
Now, see,
and
for me,
that
I think
uh
that's where I kind of derailed. Because my father, even though he was an excellent provider, Lord rest his
yeah,
soul, my mom and my father had split. They were together for 19 years. And now
uh
that I reflect my life, it's pretty much like a generational curse, I would say, because
yeah,
I went out seeking things because my father wasn't there.
wasn't there, yep,
And I
mm-hmm,
ran into something
mm-hmm,
that I was not even ready for or prepared for. Now I'm
yeah,
looking back with my girls. I have three girls, and my
yeah,
father is three sisters. It's a total of five of us, but it's two boys and three girls.
yeah,
And I'm just watching the pattern. It's so similar. He
yes,
had three girls. I have three girls,
yeah,
and I was the baby girl. I am the
uh,
baby girl. And I was just searching for something. And now I'm looking
uh,
at my girls, and I feel
yeah,
like that's the reason why. That's another reason why I had to
mm-hmm,
let it go because I don't know if I shared that story and I don't know if we have time. Um, but the one of the main reasons why I left is because we had gotten into an argument. I was letting them
yeah,
come to see my kids
yeah,
in my last apartment, and we argued about something that his nephew did. His nephew was there,
yeah,
and I fell asleep to take a nap. I had cooked, clean, so I was exhausted. And I'm like, okay,
yeah,
daddy's
uh-huh,
here. I can take a little nap. I can relax for a second.
yeah,
So wrong. I take a nap and wake up. I forgot what had happened, and I was just so upset. So I talked to him. We get to
yeah,
arguing, and long story short, he threatens to kill me right in
uh-huh,
front of my kids, my
yeah,
daughters to be exact. And
um
for me, that part right there, I said, no, now I have to really do something. If I sit down, lay down, and take this, what I'm
yeah,
showing them is that, oh, it's okay for a man to get in your face and
yeah,
mistreat you and call you every name in the book and threaten to kill you and
uh-huh,
take your life in front of
yeah,
anybody. And it's okay
yeah,
for you to sit down, shut up, and be silent. No.
yeah.
That's when I got up.
Mhm.
Well, he
And I
had
was like,
left the next day, I believe, and took the boys to play basketball. That's when I
yes,
formulated a plan. I said, you know what? I rented a car and got
yeah,
straight down to the courthouse, took my daughters and got that restraining order. I said, this is it. I'm finna show him I'm done.
hmm,
I'm not tolerating this no more. It's a
yeah,
wrap.
Sometimes you have to call it quits
Right.
when you see so many signs
Exactly.
of, the signs of things is not going to change. You've been there for like 15,
Exactly.
20 years, and you be like,
Exactly.
you doing all this changing for them, but they not doing no
Mm-hmm.
changing for you.
Exactly. I don't know how many changes I made. And I'm not going to say that I'm perfect, but if you
Yeah,
were to balance out the scale, I
yeah,
honestly feel like I've made more strides and accomplishments just trying to be a parent than he has ever had. So when I had to
yeah,
balance that out, because I had to battle with it, the kids were getting mad at me and thinking I was just this green-eyed monster because I'm keeping their daddy away from them. And I'm like, no, it's
yeah,
it's deeper than that. But you
yeah,
can't have those type of conversations with children, you know. So while they're
hmm,
looking at me weird and thinking I'm just this bad person, this bad parent,
yeah,
just being mean, being evil, being vindictive,
uh,
I'm trying to protect everyone, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I mean, but you know, I learned this a long time ago. I learned this about relationships. If
Mm.
no one has sat down and taught you how to love yourself, you ain't gonna know how to love nobody else.
Exactly.
You're
That
not gonna know. You're not gonna have that understanding of how to love anybody else because no one has taken out time to even love you.
right.
And my thing is that my thing is that you know we as women we gotta learn how to love ourselves. I
Absolutely.
mean, love
Ab-
ourselves unconditionally and have standards of what we want, or what we
and-
going to, what we want in our lives, and what kind of man we want in our lives, and what kind of, uh, uh, you know, how how much integrity is your self worth?
exactly. And boundaries, most definitely.
Yes, because you don't
Yes.
have them, you just get, and I tell this to all the young, I tell this to young ladies. Be picky about what you when you pick somebody to be with. Be picky.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes.
Be
Yes.
picky. Be very choiceful. Be It's your choice. You got a choice. You always got a choice. You do not have to
Exactly.
be nobody's whipping post.
Exactly.
You don't have to be nobody's battering ram.
That's right.
You don't have to be nobody's bed warmer if you don't want to.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You don't have to be, you have a choice. You got a mind. God gave you a choice and you have one.
That's right.
And that's what we need to be, teaching our young ladies. They out here thinking the boys, oh, I like her, I like him, I love him. Child, you
Mm-hmm.
don't know what love is.
Exactly. And I was
Love
like
is
that too.
sacrifice, and
Mm-hmm.
how they say this. The man don't work, he don't eat.
That's right. I say that to my oldest boys. Yes. Uh-huh.
If you don't work,
Amen.
you don't
Yes.
eat.
Uh-huh. Come on now.
And
Yes.
as far as I'm concerned, I had to get it, and I had to get that in my youngest son's head. If
Mm-hmm.
you don't work, you don't eat,
That's right. That's right.
and you got to take care of yourself. And don't and
Mm-hmm.
this is one thing that irritates me, that young men are not being taught how to even take care of themselves.
Oh yes, I know. Trust me. I'm
And
living
it's like, okay, why
in
you
it
don't want
right
to take
now.
garbage out? Why you don't want to
Mm-hmm.
clean the house? Why you don't want to
Right.
wash no clothes?
Wash the dishes. Why? Yes, I
Hello,
know. Let
give
me
me
tell
a
you
break.
something. Right, girl. Let me tell you.
You
Yes, I am
know?
still going through that with my boys. They're actually starting to
Yeah,
come out of that, but
yeah,
watching their father for so long,
yeah.
it was it was hell for me. I'm not even gonna lie. Excuse my French. I don't even know if I'm allowed to even say that on your show, but it was pure T
Hell,
Yes, because
hell.
I'm
We
doing
gonna say
everything, and
hell.
they will be yeah. I just wanted to make sure, but yes, it was hell for me because during the
Mm.
midst of me leaving him, they were
Uh
sitting back
huh.
watching everything because, like I said, um, my ex, my abuser, he was just pampered, and only because his mother was locked
Mm.
up in and out of his life. Well, she was locked up most of
Mm-hmm.
his life. By the time she came home, we had
Yeah.
already had our first son. So she missed out on a
Yeah.
whole chapter, couple of
Yeah.
chapters actually. And so she
Uh
tried
huh.
to overcompensate by doing
Yeah.
whatever, being at
Uh
his
huh.
waiting hand and foot. If you want your dishes washed out, I'm looking like, what the heck? What? What?
Huh?
He's right there on the bed. Get up. I'll be like, yo, get up and wash the dish, dude.
I'm
He,
saying.
no, my mom got it. She got it. Huh? Wait, what? So I'm just watching
Yeah.
this cycle, right? I'm watching it and I'm like,
Mm.
this is weird, okay? Because
No.
my father
Good.
always, even though he was not around like that, he
Yeah.
always raised all of us, especially the boys. Get up
Yeah.
off your tail and do
Yeah.
something. do
Do
something.
something. You
And
know,
for me, that was just foreign to me, just sitting back watching it. And I'm like,
why? Yeah, why
how
she
is
do everything? You know,
right?
and it's like,
She would wash his clothes. She would run
uh
his errands. There would be a store across the
huh.
street. Mom, can you go to the store? Huh?
Yeah,
Go to the store. And we
my
would argue
grandma
about that sometimes. I'm like, why can't you go to the store? Oh, I'm busy right now. Busy doing what? Playing a video
busy
game?
doing what? You ain't doing sitting here watch TV,
Smoking weed? I mean, what are you busy doing now? Come on now. And
girl.
it used to irritate me because to see a woman, even though I didn't
Yeah,
care too much for her, because of the way she treated
yeah,
me, but seeing a woman go through that period just bothered
yeah. To
me.
give,
It really
yeah,
did.
I saw my grandmother do that with my two boys,
Yeah.
and the
Okay.
thing was now it's like my younger son is taking on those traits. He
Yeah.
wasn't like that he my youngest son, he
hmm
wasn't like that. He would do the chores, he'd get up, do stuff,
Wow. It sounds like my
things of that
youngest.
nature and
Yes.
whatnot. And
In the
he would do the
beginning.
stuff. And now it's like he done converted back the way he would live with his grandmother before she died. You know,
Okay.
where I don't want, I ain't, I gotta ask him to take the garbage out if he come in the
Right.
house.
Same
Or,
thing.
Mom, you got something to eat. And I'm sitting there like, like when I'm,
Right.
I'm type of person where like after a while, I've gotten to the point where I'm 51, just turned 51 today.
God bless you.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow.
I just decided I'm just tired of catering to
Right.
grown people's needs.
And that's where I'm at right now. Absolutely. Even though I will be 36 on the 3rd, but that's exactly why I am in life. I'm tired of catering. And
You know,
that's how I felt like,
and
just
get
like a helpmate just for everybody. I'm just everybody's
yeah,
slave,
and
maid, and
always
helpmate. You know?
yeah, and always getting the short end of a stick.
Amen. Yes. And I'm like, this ain't life. This cannot
No,
be a life.
there's not
This
no
can't
living
be.
here.
Right. It is suffering. And so
Yeah.
that's why I really felt like I had to let him go because he had put so many generational curses. It has trickled down the line, even down
Yeah.
to the two children that are not his because he raised, well, I wouldn't even say he raised. I was living with him and still with him when I had
Uh-huh.
my youngest son, which is not his biological son. So for
Uh-huh.
his way of trying to make himself look like the good guy again was pretty much
Yeah.
to, okay, well, let me raise him. Let me let her son in here and maybe I'll get some brownie points for that. Now that I sit back and
Uh-huh.
think about it, but now he pretty much brainwashed him too, and that's my youngest son. And he has a lot of similarities referring to your younger son because he was my little angel. Anything I would
Yeah.
tell him to do, I wouldn't even have to ask him. Mom,
Yeah.
you need help with this?
Yeah.
Mom, you need help with that? Mom, he was on it.
Yeah.
And then once I started letting him go around my ex, which is the abuser, which is
Yeah.
the other kids' father, because I didn't want him to feel left out.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And in the midst of that, I was in the search of looking for his father because he knew that he had a child out there and he wasn't trying to get caught up with child support. So that was a whole nother
Uh-huh.
battle. So I was really going through
Yeah.
a lot with these men. And he's not
Yeah.
even the only narcissist I dealt with now that I sit back and reflect on everything. But
Uh-huh.
he was by far the worst. He was.
Yeah. Sometimes and then now it's like I don't even want to be bothered with no man.
Exactly. I don't blame you. I done
Like,
had
oh,
people,
I ain't got,
right?
I don't have the app like I was telling you. I ain't got the apparatus. I don't have the equipment.
Right. It's
I
just
don't have the
like,
fortitude. I
you
just
know,
don't because you feel like you have done all you can do.
right.
When you can do all you can do, you just stand.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that's what I say about us women. We are some strong women.
Amen. I'm
We is
telling you.
strong. You might think you got us down for the count,
Mm-hmm.
but buddy,
That's
watch
right.
out. Don't let me get no second win.
We get back up always, somehow, some way.
Yeah,
We do.
I'm gonna make it. I'm
Exactly.
gonna do what I gotta do. Make it.
That's
I'm
right.
gonna say it like Ray Charles. I'm gonna make it do what it do, baby.
Facts though.
Make it do what it
Yes.
do, baby.
Make it do what it do. Yes, you
I know,
got
right?
to.
Yeah,
And honestly,
because
I feel like that's why for all the women out there who are suffering, don't think that it's over. You may be down, but you're not down and out. I
yeah,
was
yeah,
down so many times. It was
yeah,
times where I would wake up, I would go to sleep crying because I
yeah,
didn't want to, I didn't understand what was happening. I felt like God was punishing me. And then I would
mhm,
wake up crying because I
yeah,
wanted to, I didn't want to wake up, you know?
yeah.
And I always used to get upset when I would wake up beside him every morning. I would wake up with an attitude. I wouldn't let him see me
Girl,
crying. I wouldn't let him see me
okay.
crying because to
Hmm.
me that showed a weakness, and he would really try to beat me down emotionally with that.
Yeah.
And so I would try
Uh-huh.
to clean myself up, before
Hmm.
he gets up.
Yeah.
But then I would be so angry with God and be like, why are you putting me through this? You could just take me right now, you know.
Hmm.
But now I see that we all serve a purpose, and it's bigger than any of us. You
Yeah, it
know,
is.
it is so many women. I never thought or imagined that it was so many women out here suffering like this. You know,
Yes.
it breaks my heart because it takes me back.
Yes.
Oh God, I'm getting emotional.
Oh, okay.
It's
Understand.
it
Understand.
takes me back,
What? Yeah,
to
it's
those
taking you to
days.
a place. It's
Right.
taking you to a place where it make you reminisce.
Yeah. Where I didn't have that help, you know?
Um.
And I just
Yeah.
prayed that someone would just come to my rescue.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody came. Nobody came.
Nobody.
So
Nobody.
now for me, I want to be that hero for others. I want to pull them out of that pit any way that I can, whether it be
Mm-hmm.
through my group, or open an ear, whether it
Yeah.
be through me trying to raise money to build this domestic violence shelter.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever God is willing to put in my spirit, I'm willing to do, you know,
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
most definitely.
I, I know that's right. We got a few comments here. We got one from Miss Tina Keys. Miss
Okay.
Tina Keys says, "My girl Millie, so proud of you."
Hey, Tina, thank you so much. Thank you, baby. That's my sister in Christ right there.
I know
Yes.
that's right. It's always good to
Yes.
have. It's good
Yes.
to have those.
Yes. And
Then,
that's what I meant by that supportive circle. I just
um,
met her not even a month ago, and I swear she supports me. And she's not even going through what we are going through, but she's just there to support,
mhm.
and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
just
Then,
overwhelming with
then
joy
you,
though this time.
yes, and then you have Miss Ebony Taylor said, "Proud of you, Millie Haywood."
Oh, thank you, Ebo. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
Ebony
you.
Taylor and Tina Keys. We thank you for coming into the broadcast. We greatly appreciate you so much. We
Most
greatly
definitely.
appreciate your love and support of
Yes.
Miss Millie Haywood. Miss Millie, I want to, I want to give you, I want to say, I want to say this,
Mhm.
that the vision God has given you,
Mhm.
never cease, never cease
Mhm.
to pursue the vision God gave you, because of you speaking up and you created your group,
Yes.
that you are doing exactly what God wants you to do.
And I feel that because in the beginning, thank you so much for that because
You're welcome.
um in the beginning I started this group 3 years ago, and I was
Hmm.
just not in the right state of mind. My heart really
Hmm.
wasn't in it, my spirit wasn't in it. I was just so misguided. And I was just picking like random friends, people that I associate with, not
Yeah.
even considering those who needed help and who were
Yeah.
crying out. But now it's different. God is leading me to these people like how I met you. I was just
Yeah.
randomly selecting people on Facebook.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
then we get to talking, we get to
Hmm.
communicating, we get on the phone, and I'm like, oh my God,
Yep.
I had this conversation with my uncle. I said, I'm going on this interview. This lady is so, it's like looking at me in the mirror. She was
Yeah,
born in New York. She came down here to Portsmouth around 7, and he knows the
yeah,
whole story. He said, "Really?" He said, "What?" I
yeah.
said, "Yes."
Mhm.
He said, "That's God." He said, "God put that woman in your path. Go for it. Y'all may do
Yeah,
some big things later on, you know." And he was really
yeah,
inspiring me, and he's very spiritual,
mhm,
you know. And I said, "Yeah,
yeah.
okay, this has to be it because it never happened like this before, never."
It's about connecting,
Yes, absolutely.
with the right people at the right time, doing
Yes,
things that align with the goals that you're trying to accomplish.
exactly.
And um, just keep doing what you're doing. I'm having this thing right now in my head. God
Mhm.
says for you to start looking at properties,
Oh
buildings.
my God.
Start looking at properties and properties or buildings,
Wow.
and get yourself into um start doing fundraisers. Start doing fundraisers, domestic violence fundraisers, where
Okay.
where y'all have, we'll sit down and talk about that, because some God just laid that on my spirit to help you with that one, about the fundraiser part.
Okay.
But
Okay. Yes.
and see if you can find someone that can help you start your nonprofit in a legal standpoint, where you get your
Yes.
501c papers, and
Okay.
you get, once you have, you do, get those things in order, because you're going to need support of others
Yes.
during this time of
Most
you
definitely.
trying to build this nonprofit up.
Right.
And every connection that you meet, you, you know don't be shy about what you're stepping into.
Okay. And
Don't be shy
that is
when
a
you're
barrier for
stepping
me. Okay.
into something that God had opened a door for you to do.
Amen. And that's crazy that you mentioned open doors because I speak decrees about open doors every single morning, 3 times a day.
Hmm.
Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
So you in Portsmouth,
Hmm.
and you see, like I said, you know, you can, how could I say it? You can even find like the VHA home, the VA HUD homes,
Okay.
places like that. If you know any real estate agents, quote,
Mm.
real estate agents,
Right.
real estate agents are a prime good asset for you to start building your establishment of homes for domestic violence women and children shelters.
Okay. See, this is something I never really looked into, but with me praying so much, I knew it just, I just have these visions. I've had dreams about it. I felt that in my spirit after I did the domestic violence group. I said, no, it's something further. It's something more to this than just this group. What else? You know, I would even pray and ask God, what else do you want me to do with this? How
Hmm.
far do you want me to go with this? And in the middle of the night, I never forget, I seen it. You know, I seen a vision of me pretty much like having a graduation ceremony with these women, you know, being that they left from
Yeah.
their abusers and we were having this big celebration. I'm like, oh wow, so that's what's supposed to
Okay.
happen
Well,
with this,
that
you
could
know?
be a part of your program, as
Mm.
far as
And
like
right,
same
yes,
sex.
and that's what I was gonna incorporate,
You know.
have them,
Yeah.
pretty much
Have them stay
for
stay at
about
the
6 months
house,
or
or
something. Yes, until
yeah,
they're
stay at the
safe
house
enough.
about a year. Stay at
Yes,
the house
and then
about a
have,
year, and then when
yes,
it's time for them to step out on faith and live on their own with them and their
Right.
children. That's a
Absolutely.
celebration
There
next
you
year.
go. There you go.
You
And
have that
that's what I
celebration for
envision.
them, going a call it next level party.
Yes. There you
You know,
go.
next level party.
That's right. That's
This
right.
is this is how God uses me when I'm
Mm.
sitting here and it's like
Hmm.
all this stuff, the ideas pop in my head to
Me
do
too.
and
And that's
things.
us Leos. That's a Leo thing for real. Because when we're comfortable enough, that's what happens. And we vibe
Yeah,
off of people and their
God.
energy.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
ideas just get the flying like fireworks
Yeah,
and sparks, you
God.
know.
God gets to use us in a
Mm.
way that was dormant before because we were not living in His will. We were
Right.
not doing
Absolutely.
what He asked us to
Us to
do.
do. Hmm.
That's that's something I realized about the process of walking with God and walking
Yeah.
without God. Now, when
Right.
you walk
Right.
with God, things open up for you. You get new ideas, you get new creation, you
Hmm.
get new invigoration, you get
Yes.
motivation. You
Yes.
get these things, and they come out
Hmm.
like roses coming
Like
out
they're
of
just
concrete.
falling out of the sky. Right. It's like they just
you
fall out of the
know
sky
and
from
when you and when you not living, when you not in the will of God, things seem
cloudy or
no,
dark, cloudy.
not
You just
cloudy.
can't see.
No, they may seem cloudy,
Hmm.
but they are not working for
At
you
all. Right. They. I
at
know. I've
all.
been
Ain't
there.
nothing working for
Hmm.
you at all because
Right.
you're not walking in the will of God or what
No
He
matter
wants you
how
to do.
hard you try. Right. Hmm.
No
And I've
matter
been
how,
on that
yeah,
side before. Right. They try
no
to
matter
make
how
things.
hard you try to do something,
It
if
just
it's
don't
not
work
what
out.
He wants you to do right then, that ain't that
It's, that's just it.
like
Exactly.
I had to come up with that. I said why I was going through so much because I was not putting God first in my life.
Right. Right. And I was
When
at
I was
that
doing
point
all
at
this,
one point in my life too.
when it like I'm with the wrong person, the
Hmm.
relationship don't work out because that's
Right.
not the person God got for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's not the person God got for you.
You're right. You are absolutely right.
And we can sit and we can love them and we can
Hmm.
give them and we can do all this stuff and we break down our body break down and
Yes.
we hurting, we
Yes.
pain, we aching,
Hmm.
we have all their babies and all this, but
Hmm.
it ain't that ain't the person God got for you.
That's right.
And sometimes that's why I say us women when we get a certain age, or not a certain age, but we also when we start walking with God, God gives us discernment about the right men we supposed to have in our life.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
And if He lay it on your heart that you ain't supposed to be, if we ain't supposed to be with that person, God has us say, look, no, I ain't ready to be in a relationship right now. I'm not ready for that right now. That ain't for me. That's not what God have for me. That's because I
Yeah.
know how that feels
Hmm.
when when God speaks to you, He tell you who for you and who ain't for you. He give
Oh
you some
yes.
discernment.
Oh yes, he does. That's discernment.
He
There
give
you
you some
go.
discernment.
Uh-huh. Amen.
I
That's
mean,
discernment. Yes.
he will give it to you.
For real.
And you can ignore it if you want to,
Right.
but start listening to them instincts that's inside.
Yes.
If you
Oh, I
don't get
do.
no
I
good
really, really
vibe,
do.
if you
Hmm.
don't get no good vibe from that man that's
Stay
approached
away.
you or
That's
whatever,
right.
look,
Oh
no,
yes.
you ain't the one. You ain't the one.
Hmm.
Run.
I don't know
Don't
how many
walk.
people.
Run.
I don't
Run.
know
Don't
how
walk.
many people I have turned down. I mean, I had people wanting to take me out on dates, people that just wanted to, just hang out, and I would get those funny vibes. And I'm like, nah, I'm
Yeah.
okay, I'm good. Mm-mm. I'm sitting in the
No,
house
I'm
today, I'm
good.
watching movies. Oh, you don't want to come to my house? Oh, no, I'm okay.
No,
But you're not doing
nope.
nothing anyway. I'm good. I'm okay.
I'm fine. I'm going home to my
And I
babies.
had to, yes. And they would say, "Oh, you just rather sit at home with all the kids. You don't want to get out." I'm fine. I'm
No, I'm
safe
good. I
here. I'm
mean, that
okay
ain't
here. I don't have to look over my shoulders or question. I'm good. I'm okay. You
look.
know.
That's my business.
Exactly, right? I mean, I don't know what type of people or women they are
That's
used
my
to that
business.
just hop, skip, and jump like that. I never been like that, you know. But even so, like
Girl,
with people I don't even know, I really have that wall up, especially with everything that I've been through. It's like, oh no, I don't even know you from a can of paint, like
I'm saying,
you
I
know.
don't
And I
know
had
you
this
really
one dude.
from,
I'm
I
not even
don't know
gonna lie,
you, what
he
you
was really
say,
cool, you know, and
yeah,
he seemed okay, but then we were like talking, but then like day three, I started feeling the weirdness, the vibes, the
yeah, the
weird
weirdness.
energy, the weird energy. Like he
Like
was just
you felt like
he
you
became
might
I
have
was
felt
seeing
like
possession. Like he wanted me day three, he wanted me to come over by myself. I'm like, oh no, dude, we are not doing that.
that's an
Uh-uh.
ulterior motive spirit.
Exactly. See what I mean? Like it was
Ulterior
something off
motive
about it,
spirit.
you know? And then even after that, he got upset with me one night. We was on the phone. You know, he got
Mm.
upset. I don't know if he was drunk. I
Oh
don't know
no,
what it was,
no,
but I
no,
seen a
no.
whole nother side after that. And he was just saying all
Girl,
types of other stuff. And I said, you know, I said, thank you. Thank you for telling me and showing me who you really are. That's why I backed off to
yes.
begin with, because
I
I knew
had to,
something was off with you. And I
I
blocked
had
him and
God.
everything. Do you know what? Right after that, he found me on
Yeah.
Facebook. I said, now if this ish ain't weird right here. I said, oh nah. He said, do I remember you? Are you this girl from Churchland? I said, oh, no, I don't know who you talking about, but I ain't her.
I ain't
I
her.
said,
You got the
quick,
wrong one.
I ain't her. I ain't
Sorry.
her. And I said, oh my God, this dude is off. You know, and if I had
Yeah.
not went with my gut, there's
Yeah.
no telling what could have happened if I would have just been like, okay, well, I just need a day out. Let me get out. You know,
I can
acting
go out by
off
myself.
impulse. You know,
You
and
know
that's
what? That's
another thing because, you know, I've been through too much and I didn't want to share that with him. But
yeah.
me on the
No.
inside, my womanly instincts is like, oh, no,
Yeah,
you
like,
don't know this
no,
fool.
dude, you
He can
ain't the
have you
one for
hard
me.
tied up somewhere with a whole bunch of AK-47s or whatever. We not playing those games. We not
Come
playing those
on, girl.
games. You know,
She
I
said
mean, I just you
AK-47.
know, but you know, it's like people say I'm an overthinker, but you know, for me with all the stuff I've been through, you know, it's just like I can't put nothing past
Yeah,
people anymore.
because I tell
Mm.
you why that is happening.
Hmm.
Because you have been lied to, you
Yes.
have been bamboozled,
Mm-hmm.
hoodwinked,
Exactly.
run amok, led
Mm-hmm.
astray
Exactly.
by a man,
Mm-hmm.
and now the trust, all this stuff. When you do that,
Mm-hmm.
it is because of all the stuff you have been through, and it is. I'm not trying to funny. God has open your eyes, not your
Yes.
carnal eye, but He's opened your eyes and your ears to listen to
Mm-hmm.
the vibration of
Yes.
people and and the energy that they give
Mm-hmm.
off.
Yes.
I had that's why I've gotten to the point where I do not accept men's friend requests a lot on Facebook,
Me
because a
either
lot of them
anymore.
is
Mm-hmm.
it's got
Weird.
ulterior motives. And
Exactly.
a lot, and
Uh-huh.
look, and then you get the ones that this like they're fake profiles and all kind of stuff.
Yes,
And I'm
exactly.
like,
It's just too weird.
look,
It's just
I ain't got the time or the apparatus for that.
exactly. It is
You know,
entirely too much. Like who has the
you
energy
know.
for that?
Yeah, we got to, as women, listen to our instincts when it comes to hello, Miss Fly Legacy. How you doing? Good evening, Fly Legacy. She is in the house, and we are having a nice evening and
Yes, we are.
everything, and and this is how we do it, on Let's Talk Sunday. So, um, one more bit of advice for women, and then we're gonna pick this up another time. So what's the advice? What's the advice you want to leave for women?
I would say trust yourself,
Mm-hmm.
love yourself, trust
Mm-hmm.
yourself, and do not doubt yourself with these men.
Uh-huh.
Follow your instincts. I never paid attention to it up until maybe a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And the more in tune I got with that voice, it just guides me along the way. I don't even have to question it anymore. The
Yeah,
answer
yeah.
eventually gets revealed to me. And it's just
Mm-hmm.
so amazing. It is so
Yeah.
amazing. So I would
Yeah.
definitely say that as a
Okay.
closing.
All right. So Miss Millie Haywood is our special guest for this evening on surviving domestic violence. And I know I'm going to be having her back on the show.
Yay!
And we'll keep you posted with that. And because this is a topic we can't keep brushing under the rug.
Absolutely not. No.
It's something that need to be talked about because our young ladies, if you looking around at them and you see what they're going through and you don't say nothing, and then you be like, I wish I had said something, but then she is deceased by the time
Mm.
you won't speak up.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wait till the person is dead and you know something going on with them that ain't right.
That's
And
right.
if you start a group, start a young woman's group at your church, at
Mm-hmm.
in the neighborhood. I don't care if they have to come to your house or whatever. Start talking to our young ladies about how to avoid these types of relationships
Yes.
that you see that their moms have went through, their aunties have went through, their cousins have went through. I remember I remember I had a cousin of mine. And this was the bad part about her relationship. Her and the baby dad, I don't I you know, they were going together. Okay. And we see him all the time and we knew he was a police officer. And I remember one time where my grandmother was talking to this cousin's mother. Her that were one of her my grandmother's nieces, and the niece's daughter had this relationship with the guy who was the police officer, and she was telling them how he attacked her, and
Mm.
he would follow her, and he was stalking her, and he was doing all this
Mm-hmm.
stuff to her car and all sorts of
Mm-hmm.
stuff because he was a police officer, didn't nobody want to do nothing. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't nobody, the police, you know how you get these restraining orders on them,
Mm-hmm.
TFR, whatever they call them,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't, but until I don't know how that ended. I don't know how the relationship ended, but he ended up losing his job behind his domestic mess he was doing with my cousin. See, sometimes you mess with the wrong person and you
Mm.
don't know who that person know in
Mm-hmm.
these situations,
That's
and
right.
it could escalate way out of hand where it
Yeah.
got uncles,
Mm-hmm.
cousins,
For real.
all these people all into this domestic violence stuff.
Exactly.
And and we all had one of them uncles in the family didn't play that mean put no hands on a woman.
Mm-hmm. Come on now.
I
Huh.
know I had one.
Exactly.
I know I had one. I had my uncle. He was one of them uncles where you knew you had something going on, and you had problems, and he one of them ex military dudes too. He ain't
Mm-hmm.
play that man put no hands on a woman.
That's right. That's right.
He ain't play that.
Mm-hmm. My uncle
My
and my
uncle,
father were like that. Mm-hmm.
and walk up on you and say, look, you put your hands on my daughter again, I'm gonna do
Ex-
so and so and so and so,
exactly.
and ain't nobody gonna
Come
find you,
on now.
dude.
Yes. There you go.
You're
That's
gonna be missing
exactly
in action,
exactly. MIA.
because and that's the kind of men that's the kind of men. But then I can see how sometimes when the other family members get involved and they split them up, and she keep running back to him, you
Right.
know, and he be like, well, you know what, no man, I done tried, I did my part,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and As they say, you can't cry wolf but one time with certain people.
Exactly.
You
Mm-hmm.
know. But anyway, so like I was saying, y'all get these girls sitting around here 13, 14, 15 years old, and they sit around here having all these babies, and they doing all the work, and the little boys walking around like I don't have no responsibilities.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the way society. That's not. We need to talk to our children about how to treat each other.
Amen. Yes.
We need to talk to our young men and our ladies to teach them how to treat one another with respect and integrity for themselves. Because
Mm-hmm.
these children out here, they running around and they lost, looking like lost in the sauce.
Mm-hmm.
And my grandma said ain't got a pot to piss in or a
No
window to
window
throw
to
it
throw
out
it out
in.
of. Amen.
You
Yes.
know, that's
There you go.
and
Mm-hmm.
that's that we gotta sit down and talk with them.
Right.
Talk with them. I don't care if you in church. Okay, I want all the young ladies to sit over. Come on, all young ladies, come over here and we're gonna have a conversation.
Right. Yeah.
Because it starts at home. Our teaching
Mhm.
starts at home. Our
Yes.
teaching don't wait till they get to school and then you gotta turn around talking about, oh well, Billy Bob slapped this girl in the hallway
Mm.
and it pushed her down. Come on, why do we gotta get to that point where we got to keep going to the school for our children and think the teacher's supposed to do the job that the parents supposed to do?
Right.
Anyway, don't get me start preaching, child.
Oh,
So I thank you so
girl, you
much,
doing your
Millie
thing.
Haywood, for coming, baby. I thank you.
Thank you
And
for having
I
me.
will what say, babe?
I said thank you for having me. It was definitely an honor. I had a
Oh, you're
blast with it.
welcome.
And I hope this
You're
isn't the
welcome.
last time.
You're welcome.
Hopefully we can.
Girl, this ain't gonna be last time. We're gonna be talking like this. I might make this a weekly, just a different weekly episode. That's what's leading to my spirit that we sit down and we talk about
Oh
just
my.
this topic, and and and
Okay.
and make it a group thing where or I might, I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud. I'm just thinking out loud
Okay.
that that us women, we know nieces, we know our little cousins, we
Hmm.
know our sisters' kids, or we know somebody that is young between the ages of 10 and 18 that
Right.
they'll come and sit
Hmm.
in a meeting and
Yes.
we just sit and talk in a Zoom meeting.
Okay.
Not
Yeah.
broadcast like this, but in
Right.
a private meeting, in a private setting, and we sit and teach and talk to our children. Because the stuff going on now these days with the young folks shooting and killing each other, and
Oh yes. It just breaks
it's
my heart.
like
It's
it's like what is happening to our young people?
right.
Like the parents not teaching them how to have respect for one another, not
Mm-hmm.
have respect for their parents. They cussing their parents out, want to beat
Mm-hmm.
on their parents. Hold up, I would my child back in my day. I wish you would try to act like you gonna raise your voice to my mama. My
Exactly.
mama knock you the next week. I wish you would say
Exactly.
that. She
Mm-hmm.
be wanting to knock you out even before you get the statement out your mouth.
Exactly.
But
Yes.
now children have this thing of I'ma call it family services.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna
Ooh.
call child serving, call social service on you.
Mm-hmm. That is yep. And that's mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
You
we're
know
gonna have to
what?
talk
I
later. We're gonna
say,
have to talk later.
girl,
Yes. Mm-hmm. We're
look,
gonna have to talk later.
go ahead and call them. I'll call them for you. How about
Mm-hmm.
that?
Exactly. Yep.
Anyway, so thank you, Miss Haywood, for coming in. Okay.
Thank you.
And
Thank
I
you for
want to thank
having
my
me.
audience members, my members. Uh yes, okay. And Miss we're gonna put this up here. Miss Tina Key says it's also domestic violence happening to men as well. Yes, it is.
It really is. It
It
is.
is. It's not just women. Now, I
No.
mean, that's a topic for another day. That's topic for another day,
Uh-huh.
Miss Tina. I
Mm-hmm.
love you, Miss Tina. Okay, and
Yes. Love you, sister in
we
Christ.
she done already gave me a topic for next time we talking, right? I Miss Haywood. I love you, and I thank you, and I thank our audience members for coming in. And we will talk to you later. And um, just hold tight, Miss Haywood, for a minute, okay?
Okay, no problem. And thank you so
Okay.
much. I love you too. It has been an honor. It has been a blast and an honor.
Oh, you're welcome, baby. You're so welcome. All right, everyone. It has been our pleasure. It has been our time. It has been everything that we need to do that is for us. And I want to say thank you to Miss Haywood for coming. And I love you. And just hold on a moment, Miss Haywood. Okay, hold on. All right, everyone. It has been our honor. It has been a pleasure. And I thank you so much for coming and being with us for Let's Talk Sunday. Our special guest for this evening is Miss Millie Haywood. And we were talking about surviving domestic violence. Okay, everyone. I want to see y'all next Sunday for Let's Talk Sunday. Okay, normally we have this program about 12 noon, but this evening was a special engagement that I really want to discuss in deep detail. And I want to thank y'all very much for coming in. Sharice Johnson Moore saying, see you next week on Let's Talk Sunday. All right, babies.